Okay, here we go. So the third time's a charm. So this is Lou Martin, and I have the Awakened Spirits Network Facebook page for teachers and teachings, and everyone's invited to that. And then I have a Awakened Spirits Network YouTube channel, and Patricia and I chatted a few years ago, and we've got a few things in common at the moment, and probably a few more that we'll discover. So I wanted to invite Patricia, who is an amazing artist, a teacher of consciousness, and has just come through some life-changing experiences. And we've also both been attracted to this one teacher that we'll talk about in a minute here. Patricia.
It's so lovely to be here. Thanks for inviting me, Lou, and it's lovely to chat again.
Thank you very much. A pleasure. Yes. So let's see. We're talking about your art. We're talking about your second deck of cards, which you've just raised some money to be able to do. And you've got 100 things going on, I think, right?
It's busy at the moment. I'm getting renovating work done in the house as well. So it's a bit crazy here. But I'm having the second Oracle deck is coming out. So it features my artwork along with inspirational messages. And I very much designed it around just helping people through the times that we're in, the chaotic times that we're in at the moment. So just bringing some solace, bringing some just connection, it's a lovely way to do that. So.
Yes. I use the angel cards every day, and any oracle, I think, is always spirit is always going to come through any opening that we invite them to be able to speak through. That's great. When do you have an idea of when you hope that might be ready for?
I'm hoping they're going to print. I signed off on it today, so I'll get.
Oh wow!
I'll get a.
Cheers to you.
Thank you. So it'll be gone to print, and I'll get one deck, so just to make sure the quality is okay, and then they'll go off for print, and I think I'll get 100 to 150 before Christmas, and then the rest.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So
well, good. There's the magic word, before Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Very, very good. So Patricia and I were chatting a couple times now before I figured out how to turn this thing on. And we're talking about, both of us have gotten to connect with our mortality through disease and illness and surviving all that. And you were mentioning this very dramatic story about both your parents. Can you say something about that again?
My mum died in August 2021, and it was quite sudden. We didn't expect her. She was ill, but we wouldn't have expected her to go. But she died very, very peacefully in her sleep, and I had some amazing experiences around her passing.
Okay.
About 3 weeks later, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And it was triple negative, so it was quite a serious one. And then 2 months after that, my father also passed away. So it was so some parts of it are a blur.
You were on the floor, I would think.
Yeah.
Bless you.
So, but I think if I didn't have the spiritual toolkit that I have, I wouldn't be sitting here today. So
I'm sure you know that you would know that that's true, hon. When you say your spiritual toolkit, can you share any of that with us?
Yeah, well, this was my art practice, obviously, first and foremost. Also meditation. So I'm a huge fan of meditation and just connecting with spirit, connecting with nature. Sound came up which was something I know we're going to talk about, Lars Muhl.
Sure.
Yeah, it was something that very intuitively came to me when I was ill, and I began kind of making sounds. And it was only I went to Lars's workshop last week here in Wicklow, and I hadn't realized how much into sound he was, but it really resonated. The whole thing, I know it was meant to be there. So really, really interesting. Really interesting.
Brilliant. Well, that was the third thing, was surviving cancer, the spiritual journey and creativity and art, and rediscovering for me through videos, and then getting invited to interview him, and you going to his workshop. Lars Muhl, who's this amazing Danish mystic who had a midlife crisis like we've both just gone through. He was 3 years in bed, unable to think or be at peace. And then he had a 5-minute conversation with the man who became his mentor. And after 5 minutes, he got up from the bed and was perfectly fine. And several months later, he was off studying with Cahiers de Montsegur for like the next 9 years, I think, something like that. Is that about right?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know much about Lars before I went to the workshop. I had come across his work during COVID, and it was one particular YouTube video where he's in the cave where the Dead Sea Scrolls were found in Israel.
Yes, I saw that.
He's playing the music, and oh my God, the tears just flowed. It was just like a homecoming. So I'm very connected to that part of the world. Just when I went to Egypt, I've got to Egypt maybe four times now. But I went, the first time I went was when I was about 19. And I'd gone to Cyprus with my first boyfriend, and we were supposed to be banana boating and drinking and cruising. And I broke my arm. And I was in a plaster cast from my fingers to my shoulder. And so I couldn't really do much of the things. So we decided just on, there was a cruise over to Egypt. And we decided to do it. And we did it. And everybody comes out on the deck, when everybody comes out on the deck when the ship is coming into port. And I just stood on the deck and the tears just flowed. And it was like, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home. And so I was just intrigued by it. And of course, there was no internet then. That's 30 years ago. So I had no idea what was going on. None. So it's only in recent years, kind of since I awakened. It was 2012. I went through another complete awakening. I'm kind of now it's making, well, would I say sense? I don't know what's going on. I'm never going to say that I do, but it's making more. I'm connecting with more people who have similar experiences, let's say.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing that. And of course, your stunning mandalas, are very fifth dimensional, very higher dimensional or hyperdimensional. So you've had a series of spiritual awakenings, like I've been blessed with, and others as well. And you start to get a deeper sense, I think, that's this is really happening, and you have an important role to play helping other people understand what's going on. Would that be fair?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
I would very much connect with spirit in my dream. So when my sleeping.
Whoop, I just lost you. Sorry, Patricia, I just lost you there. Little help, universe. We were doing so well. Don't know what the deal is. Right. Okay. Well, let's see if she hops back on here in a second. Patricia, I told her, she's one of the most gifted artists I've ever seen, let alone to know her personally and be friends is such a privilege. And she's a very humble person. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. How's that? Better? Here, this is me. Sorry. Unmute mic. Is maybe the mic muted from your side? We were doing very well. Yeah.
There we go. Now can you hear
there
me?
It is.
There it is.
Yes. Well done. Yeah, no, that's okay. That's all right, hon. All's well that ends well, as Shakespeare says.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're talking about spiritual awakening. You were talking about Egypt. Go ahead and say whatever you wanted to say following that.
I think it's a journey where it's like the spiral, isn't it? Where you go through one thing and then you evolve to another and another. And I just hope, I hope for you and me that those difficult lessons are done with, but maybe not, I don't know. But
well, yeah, I hope the same, my friend. Absolutely. You know, I think that's true. I mean, I think honestly, you know, we have to stay humble and in our spiritual practice, you know, as you were saying about meditation and everything that you do and I do, you know, to stay connected to God, to source, to spirit. You know, it is a practice, but yeah, it is getting easier. I really feel that personally.
Yeah, I think definitely you're connecting much more readily. That's what I feel. And at the moment, it's, you know, you're in.
Yeah. No, really. Yeah.
In.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've just gone through these huge eclipses the last few weeks. You know, that's been so powerful.
Yeah, very much so. It's fascinating. Just the whole. Sometimes when I'm doing mandalas, I don't know very much about astrology, but I will do certain things, and then maybe a crop circle will appear with a similar pattern, or somebody will tell me, "Oh, there's a quincunx, and I've done a 5." You know, I don't know. I don't know how it's just coming through you. I suppose you just come into it and you just put out.
You're the channel. You're the channel. Absolutely.
Yeah. You just put out
what's
through.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's getting out of the way. That's you know, trusting, being absorbed in the moment and getting out of the way, I think, you know, are very helpful. But so let's get back to Lars here, if we can, for a second. I saw an interview that he did with to come back to sound, you know, and singing and playing. Of course, I'm mad about all that. So he helped a sound healer publish a book, which was quite impressive. She said it was like 3 books. I'll have to look it up. But
is it Peter Ben David?
Yes.
Yeah. I began listening. It was actually when I posted about going to his workshop. Another friend contacted me and said that her friend had been over to Gita's workshop, a workshop that she did in Spain, and I think she was stage 4. So that's terminal. And when after the workshop, she was tumor free.
My God, fantastic!
Yeah. I know. Yeah. I'm supposed to say these things on YouTube, but it's remarkable.
Yeah. You know, they 3 things that can't be long hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. You know, is the quote from Buddha. Yeah. So it all has to come out, you know, at some point, and the sooner the better. But that's wonderful.
Yeah, I think it's well on its way, isn't it? It's getting rocky now. So I think the thing is just to stay in your heart and stay, you know, the only way out is through.
Yes. And a lot of, you know, with the, the way out is through, the way out is in. Either of those, you know, work for me. So tell us more about using sound at the workshop, if you can.
Yeah, it was really, really interesting. We did like group where he explained the words that we were using. So it was in Aramaic. So there's a lot of energy within the Aramaic language.
Yes.
And he would, you know, say the words, and then we all did it together. But it was so amazing. It was like a choir of angels singing together. This group of maybe 30 people who've never been together before suddenly are harmonizing. And you could just feel the vibration of it going through you. It was really, really powerful.
Beautiful.
Really powerful. Yeah.
Yes.
Because during my illness, I kind of began intuitively making sounds. So I'd be in the car or something. So I live in Dublin, suburbia, so it's hard to do it in a house at the moment. But But when I'm
Oh,
in
they know you're
and
crazy
the
anyway. Don't
volume,
worry about the neighbors. They know you're mad at this point.
I know, I know, they
Yeah.
probably, yeah, I know. But yeah, but just the amount, the sound that you can make, and I'm beginning to be able to feel like the notes going up and down and where it's resonating within the body.
Okay.
So
Great.
it's
Yeah.
so interesting. And I was looking
Yeah.
at Geeta Ben David's videos, and just, yeah, I'd be very interested in doing a workshop with her.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. So hearing Lars's interviews and seeing, have you seen the documentary on his teacher yet on his
No,
website?
I haven't. Yeah, I'll definitely. Where can you watch that, Lee?
Sure. It's on his own website.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's at the very bottom of the page.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll watch that later.
Yes. Oh yeah. There you go. You're all set for the evening. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, for me, what his relationship with his teacher? I actually have a photograph of his teacher here now, as well as my Lars, and Naila pinups. Amazing energies from all these people. But his teacher was working with energy really consciously. And that's how he could get on the phone and look into somebody's physical, body and diagnose, what was the problem, and then work energetically with the problem and solve it. Most of the time, he says 90% of the people he worked with, he was able to heal. But to come back to sound and the words, I mean, it's. I've not been to Egypt, and it's a place that I see people, that I follow going to, repeatedly. Ariette Love and Aluna Joy and others, Henriette Goff Ellis, and they're obviously having life-changing. William Henry is another one, just their life-changing experiences. Like we said, the energies of the whole planet, are accelerating. I have no doubt about that, are turning up. So it's easier to feel these higher vibrational energies, and then chanting, toning, singing, anything with sound, puts you right out of your thinking mind and into the eternal moment. And then, things can really flow. Right?
And even on the purely, physical level, but if you're feeling anxious at all and you do that toning, immediately, I think it's your vagus nerve, isn't it? It leaves you. It leaves
yes.
you.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
And what Lars also said, like, you're taking up space in the world as well. You're like, often maybe when we get illnesses, I know breast cancer, there's a Gabor Mate would say there's a huge connection with people pleasing, or that not taking up your space, like not being able to receive help.
Not nurturing your own heart or your own emotional needs. Yeah. Yes, good. So that toning, that music, all of that, is self-loving and self-nurturing.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. And it's just amazing how, because I'm quite softly spoken, and I'm very introverted, if I'm honest. But when I'm making those sounds, they're like, wow, like the volume and the length of the note that you can hold. It's remarkable.
Well, I'm for anything that gets a woman making some noise, quite honestly. That's some wisdom of my 37 years of the healing journey. Because as you say, I mean, most women are blocked in their throats. Of what they won't express or don't feel safe or supported to express. And so, great when we can find new ways to just let that energy out and open the throat there. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It really is. And I agree. It's something, like, I see it all the time at my workshops, where women, when they do their mandalas, they'll pick out the holes in their own and then say everybody else's is fantastic. Whereas men are much more likely to stand up and say, I really like my mandala. I really, I own it, so it's that energy, that masculine, feminine energy, which is not physical, it's not, it's the animus in a Jungian sense, in the psyche, the soul.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and it's great that you're doing that work with the women. More power to you. And, anything. I mean, this is the return of the goddess. That's what all my teachers have been saying for 30 plus years, and because we need, women's music and voices and wisdom and anger and passion and values,
Yes.
Okay. And we've heard plenty from the guys at this point,
Well, I think just the world at the moment, I feel sometimes men are getting an awful hammering, all this toxic masculinity, blah, blah, blah. And I'm finding, and I'm actually seeing quite a lot of toxic femininity at the moment in the world, in terms of, say, cancel culture. And that's a very feminine, like, we'll leave you out. It's very quiet. We're just not going to include you in the group. And it can be done it's not a very overt aggression, but it's this a covert kind of aggression. And I think as the divine feminine rises, you're also seeing the other side of it, because everything is good and everything is bad. And I think, the thing is for the masculine and feminine to come together.
Yes.
And not 100%. Hammering each other or saying one is better than the other, or we both have differences, beautiful differences. And we're not the same, but we are the same. It's always, the power is always in the paradox.
100%. Yeah. Beautiful.
So it's recognizing the dark and light in every one of us. The line between good and evil runs through every man's heart, as Nietzsche said. Isn't that Nietzsche?
Yes, indeed. Yeah. The shadow and the light. Yeah.
And recognizing it within yourself at the moment, because it's so easy to be reactive at the moment with everything going. There's so many things to be reactive about.
Sure. And yes, and Patricia, my friend, when you lose a parent or two, or you've got a life-threatening illness, as we were saying earlier, this demands your full attention and response. And that time period between, when you got off of the normal life road, off the exit of normal life, and you're on the dark, you're cruising through the brush in the jungle, and you don't have a compass, and things, moments are truly terrifying and sobering and humbling, and they undo us. That's strong medicine.
Really
if we can survive that, then we come back to the village and we go, I may have learned something that might be valuable.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you had similar experiences, like through some of the very, very darkest times for me. I had some amazing experiences, like moments of utter connection. Like the week before my mum died, she was staying here in the house with me, and we had a bed downstairs. Where she just wasn't able for the stairs. She wasn't hugely sick. She was too salt fatigued the week before. And I was giving her a hand massage at the table, and we had to chat about what she was going, what do you think is after, what do you think, is after all of this? And I had a lovely chat with her. Yeah, I had a lovely chat with her, and I'm really grateful to have had that moment with her, and maybe it eased her transition.
Sure, hon.
But she said to me, she said, I know, it was the real Irish, she said, I know, I'll send you a sign when I'm gone. I said, what will I send you? And she was 88. Said, what will I send you? And I said, I don't know. I said, a pink butterfly. And she goes, where am I going to get pink butterflies? There's no pink butterflies in Ireland. And I said, you'll find a way. I said, that's how this works. And,
yes, good one.
So the following Saturday, she passed away very peacefully in her sleep. And then a week later, my friend, you probably know Grania Tyndall, the numerologist.
I don't know.
But Grania, some people might know Grania. Grania arrived at the front door with a gift for me. So I opened it. It was a book about coping with uncertainty. I hadn't got my diagnosis for cancer at that point. And then there was a little tissue, and I opened the tissue paper, and in it was a pair of little pink butterfly earrings that you give a little girl,
Sure.
I just burst crying. The tears came. And then and all the way through that cancer journey, she was there. And I woke up from surgery in St. James's Hospital, and I opened my eyes and I was in the bed, kind of in the ward nearest the door.
Okay.
And out the door in the corridor, there was a big mural on the wall of a tree with all pink butterflies coming out of it.
Oh my God.
And I was the
Oh
only
my,
bed in the hospital that could see it from
of
their
course,
bed.
of course, of course.
It, you know, it
Yeah.
was just, so I felt really held at times.
Yeah.
And when
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
went for surgery as well, there was another incident where I went down for surgery, and you know the way they're just, it's all a bit crazy, and you're filling out forms and consent, and they're sticking
Yeah.
things in you, and you're terrified. There's no
Yeah.
two buts about it. And
Absolutely. It's like
yeah,
walking
but
into
they
a church.
closed the blue curtains, and there was there was about 30 seconds of silence where I was just on my own, and I just connected with spirit. And when I
Mhm.
opened my eyes, a beautiful African nurse came in the curtains, and I just looked at her, and I knew her. I knew her, and I said, "Will you pray with me?" And she took my hand and she said, "May the angels work through the surgeon's hands." And she did, the prayer was exactly, you know, it was just
Yeah.
remarkable. And then she said to me, "I'm supposed to be going with the lady next door, but I'm coming with you instead."
Yeah, darling. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, that's brilliant. What I can
yeah,
relate to, Patricia, is that I never felt so cared for in my life, and I never needed the care so deeply. You know, I
yeah.
felt so. Uh, so I had skin cancer on my chest that I'd lived with for 30 years without a problem, and then in the space of a year, it just went really bad very quickly,
Okay.
and so I went in through A&E, and then I was there for 36 days after they checked me in, and yeah, it was just so humbling to be so cared about and cared for and looked after. And I
Yeah,
was just in bits, every day I was there. It was just, sick, feverish, blood transfusions. The changing of the bandages on my chest was excruciating before the surgery.
yeah,
4 drains, 10 days in a diaper with the catheter. It was quite, it was like God saying, "Lou, I need your full attention, my friend." And
yeah,
I was, hanging on with spirit every day, knowing that there was a reason for all this, and
yeah,
that it was a blessing in disguise.
yeah. I would
You
agree.
know, yeah. So
Yeah,
yes, it gives you access to what I felt, my friend, is it gave me access to a deeper place in myself, deeper place in my heart.
yeah,
And as you said, as we were saying earlier, when you really are given that gift of facing and making peace with your own mortality, and you're not dying that day, you carry that with you, and you go, okay,
yeah,
this really matters. My life really matters to me.
yeah. It's yeah, it's very, very humbling and very like everything is brighter, I think,
Yeah,
afterwards
yeah,
and more clear.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I did have my nihilistic days, don't get me wrong. I'm sure you did
Sure,
too.
sure,
Where you
sure.
go
Of
through
course.
the darkness, and that's the place you need to go to too. And sometimes I would have the thought, like, what is this all about? Why, like, why are we here? What is this? I'm going to die anyway. Why not just die now? You know? And then I would
Yeah,
come out of that. But that's something, and I know I will,
sure.
but not now. But
Well,
not now.
yeah,
And
you, you learn to
yeah,
give it over to you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think maybe we're given kind of opportunities to leave. Like I've
Sure,
spoken to a few people about this, where everybody gets like these opportunities to leave this plane,
sure,
you
sure.
know, during their lifetime, and things that happen, near misses, or a scaffold falls just out in front of you, but you're,
Yeah.
uh, you know, it's
Oh yeah. I had eight or nine of them by my reckoning before
yeah,
the surgery.
I've had a few, yeah,
Yeah. No, when you're talking about getting ready to go into the surgery, hun, it's like walking into a car crash.
yeah,
Like, we're going to put you out, and you're going to come out the other side of this, and you'll feel like you've been hit by a car.
yeah,
You've survived an accident, a trauma. So it's the most vulnerable thing I've ever experienced, for sure.
Yeah, very much so.
You know,
And well, I don't know if you had chemotherapy as well. The chemotherapy was very.
no,
I had chemotherapy nearly a year of
yes,
it, and
yes,
radiation as well. So it's the
yes,
some moments in that where I think the drugs mess with you as well, and it can put you down. And it was actually, thankfully, I read an article by Lord Mount Charles, who owns Slane Castle, and he had gone
okay,
through lung cancer. And some of those chemotherapy drugs are actually antipsychotics, so they really mess with your head. But you're not told that, and
wow,
it can get you in a very dark place. But thanks to the healers, the energetic healers that I had in my life, and people that were able to give me advice, there's things like write yourself a letter when you're feeling good in the chemo cycle, and
okay,
then you can read it to yourself when you're feeling really bad. Like,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, and it gives you, as well as at the end, it gives you so much compassion for other people who are suffering.
sure,
And you like, I can almost see people, I can recognize people who are, like, say if somebody walks into the shop, I have a little shop in Marley, and I'll know by the way they hold themselves that they're grieving,
right,
or I
right,
can kind of, just I can
yeah,
see them. I can see them.
sure, sure, hon,
Yeah,
sure,
yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, you have these great gifts, and they've been turned up to 10 from all of this. It sounds like, you
Well,
know,
I'll just keep going, and
yeah,
yeah,
honey, going absolutely. See where the ride takes us.
yeah,
It's a blessing.
yeah.
Um, Anything else you want to say about the workshop, or Lars's teaching? Have you looked at any of his books or
I have
interviews?
bought 2 of the books, and I haven't started them yet, but I will start. Yeah, yeah. I'm
Okay.
fascinated to start, and I'm going to watch the documentary tonight. I just literally went when I saw, because I had come across, I'd only listened to a little bit, but I just, when I saw Andrew putting up the post that he was having the workshop, I just said book. Like, there was
Right.
no oh,
Yeah.
will I book this? Maybe I will go. Maybe I will. It was just boom, I'm going. I'd say I was the first person who booked on.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so it's very. I just feel very drawn, and sometimes I'm very much of the philosophy. I don't need to mentalize it, if that makes it, to think too
Sure.
much about it. It's very here, and I very
Yeah.
much
Yeah.
felt it with Niala as well.
Yeah.
You just feel the heart energy and the resonance,
Yes.
and it's just lovely to be in that space. And
Yes. Yes.
um, yeah,
Do you
yeah.
know the video that lit me up, that I put on? Excuse me. I guess it was last Wednesday, and it's called the Divine Feminine, or the Female Messiah. It's about 15 minutes long. It's read by Naila, but
Oh,
it's. Do you know the
okay.
one?
No, no.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll dig it out and send it to you
Really too.
before.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because
yeah,
it's extraordinary. I
yeah,
mean, as you said, when you feel the vibration, you pay attention to it, and so I was finishing up morning prayers and wanted to put a meditation on, and that just came to me because I had seen that Lars was going to be in Dublin that weekend, and
Mhm.
24 hours later, he agreed to an interview with me. That
Okay,
was,
fantastic. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that was
So
magical.
have you done the interview?
No,
Not yet.
no,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So, but it's, I have faith that we will. And
yeah.
but yes, the energy, like you're talking about Egypt. So he goes to Qumran, and as you said, the cave with the Dead Sea Scrolls, and he's walking in Yeshua's footsteps. And so that week that popped up for me, Patricia, and then also Saint Germain's I Am Discourses.
Yes.
Have you?
Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm getting all this I am, and
Yeah.
now I'm playing it, every 5 minutes, all night long when I'm in bed and whatnot. And this is also Patricia Cota Robles, who I've been following for 6 or 7 years now. This is
Okay.
her weekly videos, her messages. I just posted another one on my page today about peace, which is, of course, a great need in the world right now. But the prayer is always, I am, boom. in the I am presence and this kind of thing. So it's just kind of a beautiful, convergence of energies, and it's just great to get to talk with somebody who understands these things. It's a pleasure to chat with you. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Yeah.
It really is lovely, isn't it? And it's lovely, going to workshops like that you're in. You just go, oh, it's like everything just drops away, and it's just this vulnerability and openness, and yeah, it was just remarkable, and it gave me confidence as well. He did some healing sessions where you were healing the other person. I didn't expect that in the workshop at all, and
Right.
there was one lady, and I was partnered with her, and it was just whatever came into your mind. So you were just literally intuiting, and in my mind, I was putting a compress on her ankle. And it turned out that she had an ankle injury. So it just gives you confidence in, like, actually what's coming through you isn't nuts.
Yeah. It's wonderful.
And it was the confidence. And then what people got from me as well, it was exactly right.
Beautiful. Yeah. I mean, I think we're all so much more, well, John Lennon said we're all born geniuses, and then society, beats it out of us.
Yeah. And that's what I loved about Lars. Like, it was actually said, he said, I'm not the special one. We're all this. And the seer, is this, that we all have that capacity within us. And it's just been brainwashed out of us, I guess. Whether it's just the culture, everything just pulls you. I think you know it when you're a child, when you see small children, you can really feel that when they look at you. They're connected, and then we forget.
Yes, but I think the good news is we are beginning to remember more.
And I think, I'm hoping people will be able to remember with more ease than maybe you and I remember with.
Sure.
But then again, that's everyone's journey as well. And then I suppose you have to go into those places too. We all do.
Yeah. That's beautifully said, Patricia. I mean, my awakening happened when I turned 30, and it was like a 7-day Kundalini experience where I got turned on, and I didn't really get turned off for about a week. And it was ecstatic and orgasmic and lovely and heart opening and joyous, and and I was like a Woody Allen character, for like 7 days, just the happiest guy you ever met in your life. And then, I came crashing down to earth eventually. But I was so fortunate because of being in Los Angeles and it being like a mecca for all of these teachers of consciousness. So I met a lot of them and worked with many of them and studied these things. So, it's given me a great grounding, but I've been waiting for, the next chapter to really unfold. And I absolutely know we're in it right now.
We are.
Things shifted.
This is it. Yeah. This is it.
Yeah.
I had actually, I don't know, have you come across the work of Jose Arzules?
No.
Argules.
Oh, Jose Arguelles.
I had a dream one night.
Yes, that's the harmonic convergence. Yeah.
Yeah, about 3 or 4 months ago, I had a dream, and I got the name Joseph Arzules. So the next day, I Googled it, and I got Jose Argules, and then I listened to this. Oh my God.
Sure.
It's just coming through.
Yeah. Well, that's the guy that started me off.
Really?
37 years ago. Yes, honey. You're doing it.
There we go.
Let me help you with it. It's Arguelles. Yeah, Arguelles. Yeah, Arguelles with the S on the end. Arguelles. Yes. Yeah. And do you know, he was at the bookshop that I worked at, and I wasn't there that day for whatever reason. And then he passed away shortly after the convergence, maybe 5 years or something like that. But an extraordinary teacher, and the whole Mayan thing. I do the Mayan Zolkin every morning on morning prayers, so the Mayans have a great amount to teach us about consciousness. I believe that.
Yeah, I think so.
And he's
it's remarkable, but how that's coming through. The world is not going to change with what we've already been doing it over and over and over and over again. We have to allow for the new to come in.
Yeah.
And whether it
Yeah.
comes in, I suppose for different people, it happens in different ways. Where it just sometimes, like when I'm doing the painting, it'll just drop in. It'll be like put a red dot in, and I'm kind of going, I don't even know, it's not me.
Yeah.
And I just do it. I just go, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And they're always the best pieces when I listen. You know, if
Yeah.
I don't fight it
Yeah.
anymore. I don't fight that anymore. Or the dreams, when it comes in dreams, it's just remarkable. Like getting names and everything, and past lives, everything. It's incredible.
You are a few steps up the mountain ahead of me, my friend, but it sounds very exciting. It's brilliant.
Lou, I've never sought after this.
Sure. Well, you don't. It is who
That's
you
so much I
are.
don't understand. So then I see other people and they're seeking. I haven't
Right.
been. Sometimes I go, why? But I know it'll happen to all of us, but it's just I suppose you're just here. That's your sole contract. You know.
Why is a great question, you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
To help people through what's going on now. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, what Patricia says is basically, you know, if we understand what's happening in the world, you know, we were asked to come here and we said yes, you know, and we knew there would be huge, huge challenges and a lot of things to work through and work out. But we have that soul knowing that God is real and we can ask for and receive help and guidance.
Absolutely.
And, you know, so I think our forgetfulness is just less than many other people's, but it's all being lifted off.
And it's beautiful because when you have those experiences, it's hard. It's not even a matter of belief anymore. It's a knowing. It's just an utter knowing.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. Yes. So someone asked Ram Dass if he believed in God. He said, "I do not. I know God." It's a different story. Or Jung as well. Yeah. But it comes through, you know, trusting ourselves and then not trusting ourselves and learning why it's better to trust yourself than not trust yourself.
I know. Yeah.
This never works. Oh, well, I'll stay over here.
And the gut and the body, the whole, I think, I don't know if you were the same with the cancer experiences, you know, probably I could tend to be kind of out here, you know, in the ether a little bit. As was it Joyce said, he's beside himself. That's where that, you know, that art saying he's beside himself is like the spirit is outside of the body. And I think the cancer experience is kind of got me back into my body and being much more aware of my body.
Right.
And,
well,
yeah,
beautiful. I mean, earlier before we started, you were mentioning shame, you know, and I mean, this is definitely one of the things that we've all had to, you know, heal, you know, and make peace with, etc. And I mean, in a you know, in these healing crises, you know, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, you know, we take away all your distractions, and we just give you the space to focus on what is really important, you know, and to value and to love and honor and value ourselves, and to let others help us relearn, remember how to do that. You know, that's a huge appreciation, you know.
Yeah, I would share that actually. I won't be ashamed of it, because I just shared with Lou before we started that during Lars's workshop, it came up to me when we were healing each other. A big part of me felt ashamed of having had cancer. And that's obviously, it's deeper. It's probably going back to childhood or something, but I know it was the first time I became aware of it. I went, wow, yeah. So it took me a few days to kind of process that and sit with it and feel it. And now just to say it, because I wasn't going to say it. So that's part of healing it, eh?
Yes, sweetheart, you put the hint quite nicely there. You know, it's good for you. Good for you, Patricia. You know, this is, I mean, I think shame, you know, so I grew up in the States, obviously, and not in Ireland, but I've been here, you know, going on 17 years in March. And, you know, I'm familiar with the Catholic Church and shame and the Irish culture and how it hasn't been a bed of roses for most people, you know, and getting over that, you know, being liberated.
You're not even conscious of the
ways
it's in you.
Right.
It was the church and the whole culture. The whole culture was that.
Yeah. I mean, I would say, you know,
we're in cahoots with it, like.
What was the word again? What?
We were in cahoots with it, you know, as a
Well,
culture.
it was, you know, otherwise you'd be prideful and, you know, hubristic and thinking
Yeah,
yourself like Jesus, you know, and Jesus is more perfect than any of us. So who are we to compare ourselves? You know,
yeah,
we just got to feel shame and guilt and strive towards forgiveness, you know, and, you know, believe me, I can sing the song backwards at this point, you know, and, but again, it's like I do see that changing here, and I see that
yeah,
especially for younger people, you know, and people, you know, giving themselves permission to think for themselves, you
yeah.
know, is a radical thing in you know, in this culture, and I know it takes a lot of courage. It's radical
Yeah, I
anywhere,
think at the
but
moment it's almost, yeah, it's like a secular. It's
you
has to
know,
be.
I mean, I did classes for 5 years, and we'd do a circle to open up the class, and I'd invite people to talk about their spiritual journey, and every single one of them had to tell me that they grew up Catholic. And I'm
Yeah,
like, is that right? Well, imagine my surprise. Can we talk about something else for 5 minutes? You know, but it's
yeah,
understandable because, you know, that was the you know, people's experience. But I'm just saying
yeah,
it's
yeah,
great to see the Irish people get over these illusions, oppressive ideas of
yeah,
shame,
yeah,
and you know, being imperfect and human and having needs and wants and being okay with that.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. That's my speech for Ireland for today. Yes, yes, and yeah, I mean, the whole thing about illness itself, of course, is, you know, people get very can be very self-conscious. Why did I attract this or create this or allow this?
Yeah,
I'm letting the team down. I'm letting my family down. Blah
yeah,
blah blah. But
yeah,
you know, when you're behind that curtain and you're getting ready for them to knock you out for a few hours and go to work, it's not about any of that. It's you and God, you know,
yeah,
saying, "Hey, let's talk," you know.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm,
And you
I'm
kind of,
ranting.
when it gets to that stage as well, you just have to, it's complete surrender, isn't it? And trust.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes, and that is, it's great to know that you can surrender to trust and be
mm,
delivered. You know,
yeah,
be healed.
yeah.
Yeah,
And even if it
brilliant.
went the other way, it's okay too.
It's absolutely better
You
be
know?
because that's going to happen one
It
day.
is,
You know.
it is. And I think, yeah, we've kind of, I think with the last 3 years, you can really see that in the culture. There's a real taboo around death, and nobody's allowed to, you know, we're all going to die. It's nothing sure than death
Yes,
and taxes. So,
yes. Well,
you'd preferably rather stay around a little bit, but, you
of
know,
course, of course.
yeah, it's that realization. What I say, I don't touch wood. Am I making my peace? I'm making my peace with that. That's okay. It's okay. I think my
Yeah.
mum's death very much helped me with that as well, because she was so accepting. I think the way it happened, it was just it was very, very graceful.
Well, I
Whereas
thought your mom,
my dad fought and fought and fought and fought, you know,
right?
which
Well,
in a
that's
way you'd go, that's great to a point, but there's a
yeah.
point of surrender, you know.
Sure, honey. Sure.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, that's
yeah.
typically the difference between the girls and the boys, I have to tell you. You
The
know,
thing,
yeah, I do, honestly. Women have a lot more practice in facing the unknown,
I
you
think
know, whereas
maybe, yeah. I think when you, with childbirth, you're very linked to your mortality at that stage as well.
are in charge, you know,
Yeah,
you are along for the ride.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's, yeah,
yeah,
that's, if that isn't surrender, what is, right?
yeah. But even the idea of this new being, and suddenly you're not the most important person in the world, and you know that this person, please God, will outlive you, and so you are aware of your mortality, and you're,
Yeah.
it's in a very beautiful way,
Oh,
in a
yeah.
very
Oh,
beautiful
yeah.
way. So maybe that eases the process too. I don't know. Yeah,
Sure.
but I've seen
Oh,
lots of men also do it very well.
well, if we're smart, paying attention, and we're wise enough to learn from the women in our life, I think we have a fighting chance, you
And the
know.
men.
But
I'm gonna say 'Cause the
Yes,
balance,
absolutely.
yeah, it's the
From the
balance.
good
It's
men,
always
from the good
balance
men, for sure.
and the good men. Yeah,
Absolutely.
and the
Yeah, yeah,
right men.
yeah. No, I'm a big fan of men and good men, especially.
Yeah.
But honestly, as we're saying here, you know, I mean, was it mostly women at these workshops, or was it pretty mixed? Let me ask you.
It would be mostly women at my workshops. Or yeah,
At yours, how about at Lars?
at Lars, mostly women. There was a few men there. There was about maybe 6, 7
But
men.
you see my point, my friend.
Yeah. I
Okay.
do.
All right. So,
Yeah,
and I
I
mean,
do.
I've been blessed to host many workshops over the years, and it's 90% women most of the time, and that's wonderful, because I'm saying again, this is the time that women's wisdom is coming out into the world,
Yeah.
to help us
But I
awaken
think
to.
that has probably been the thing that's been so suppressed. Even the you know healing modalities that women bring through, and there's a very intuitive. Like I remember as a kid, and I want to do this when I'm getting building work done at the moment. So when my kitchen's done, I'm planning on doing a lot more work with herbs. And like when I was a little girl, I used to go around. I painted, and I did fuzzy felt was my big thing, Lego, and making potions. I was always making potions. My daughter did it too when she was little. Yes, I think it's very
Okay.
innate. It's a very innate thing within us. Yeah,
Sure. Well, I
listening
mean,
again.
yeah, the women tend to be the herbalists and the
Yeah,
witches, the
yeah,
healers, you know.
yeah,
Um, yeah. The pendulum is definitely swinging, you
yeah.
know,
And yeah, and then
in
the protection of the men as well. So which is needed.
yes, absolutely, of course. We can't do this by
We
ourselves,
can't.
you
No,
know.
we can't. We wouldn't be here without each other.
No, absolutely. We need
So,
each other, but it's
yeah,
wonderful, hon, to uh, the respect, that people are gaining for themselves,
mm,
and for
yeah,
their own abilities and their own perceptions and all that. But
yeah,
yeah, I'll say honestly, I mean, unless it is, overtly a men's circle,
mm,
in any photograph I see of any conscious event, it's exclusively or mostly women all
yeah.
the
And
time.
do you go to many men's circles? Like,
I did in the States. I haven't found
yeah.
any here in Ireland. Yeah.
Is it quite different? The
Yeah.
energy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think it's really
A lot.
important. I would love to see men do that because I think it's very important.
Yes,
Yeah,
I agree with you.
yeah,
I've tried to raise that call here a few times. Maybe this is
yeah,
the time to try again. Um,
yeah. I think it could be.
you know, yes. I mean, we're, again, crisis is danger and opportunity, you know,
Yeah,
and so as the world rumbles and tumbles and shakes and quakes, and everyone's tearing their hair out and predicting catastrophe, we're trying to
yeah, yeah,
write our books and paint our paintings and put food on the
yeah,
table. Yeah, there's a lot more vision and energy and inspiration and gifts that are coming onto the planet to help us to do this. So,
yeah.
as you
Absolutely,
said, feeling,
absolutely. Tapping in. Yeah,
yeah. So I'm very excited and inspired and optimistic.
yeah. Me too.
Good.
Yeah.
There we go.
Good.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So
and we have lots to be grateful for, and I'm grateful for you, my friend. I'm grateful that you've come through like a champ, and I'm not the least bit surprised, because
and
you're
you.
you're. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, anything else we want to come down the top of the hour here to finish off and say anything? You got your deck coming out before
The deck,
Christmas.
yeah, the deck is coming out. Yeah, so it'll be. I'm really excited about that, and it happened. Things happen with ease. When something's meant to happen, it just happens with ease. And it was like I just had a
Grace and
flash of inspiration. I was like, do. So yeah, so
yes,
it's kind of letting go of those struggling to get something, to do something, but just feeling now is the time, and then acting on that
yeah,
intuition, and
yeah,
things flow much more easily because the energy's with you.
yeah,
Could you believe
yeah.
that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Give in advance. That's and how
Yeah.
good can we stand it? That's the question. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Well, honey, I'm so glad to catch up with you, my friend Patricia. Thank you so much.
And you. And
Will
we'll
we leave
talk
it there?
again soon.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Have a wonderful evening, and I'll send you the link to the seer so you have something to look forward to.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Okay.
You're
Bye.
welcome. All right.
Yeah.
Bye for now. Keep
Bye-bye.
on. All right. Cheers.